report, as updated this morning, Democrats are going to get Biden off the ticket. Now, of course, when you look at the polling, and let's do that first. Let's jump right into the polls, because this is going to blow your mind. 538 that normally shows polls favoring Democrats has Donald Trump up 2.3 points. So, of course, the New York Post is correct when they say they've got to get Joe Biden off. Here we go. We've got Trump up 5. Let's just do this. July, we got Signal, 2 polls, Trump up 5. When they include Kennedy, West, and Stein, Trump is still up 5. Daily Mail has Trump up 5. Against Harris, he goes up 11 points because she's next in line. I wonder, is she still the front runner? I think she is. Let's see. Let's go to Predict It and see. Okay, so Kamala Harris is no longer the front runner over on Predict It. Sorry, Kamala, you were, but you're not anymore. So we've got Trump with Kennedy, West, Stein, and Oliver. Oh, that's funny. And that puts Trump up 6 points. Reuters has Trump up 8 against Pritzker, Whitmer, Bashir, and Newsom. He's up 6, 6, and 4 points. Now, here's the interesting one. When Reuters put Michelle Obama on the poll, Michelle Obama is up 12 points. And I think that may be the play. A lot of people have been saying it. We've mentioned before a lot of people saying, yeah, but Michelle Obama doesn't want to run. She doesn't want to do it. None of that means anything. None of that means anything. Whether she does or does not doesn't matter. You got another Reuters poll. Michelle Obama up 11 points, July 1st to the 2nd. Now, while Trump dominates across the board against everyone, the polls say he won't beat Michelle Obama. Take a look at this from the 2024 general election RCP, Real Clear Polling Average. Trump is up 3.3 points. Now, I will tell you this. I'm not absolutely convinced Michelle Obama could win against Donald Trump. These polls say one thing, and a lot of people are pointing out, like, oh, but Michelle Obama, she's an Obama, she's popular, she'll get the diversity vote, like the leftist, the woke vote. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I think it actually doesn't work that way. You know, a lot of people think that they need Kamala Harris for the diversity vote, for the woke vote. I don't think so. I think they did that. I should say sort of. But it's not because people voted for Kamala Harris. The fact is, no one voted for Kamala Harris. She didn't get a single delegate. So why is she on the ticket? So that Joe Biden can say, look at me. I believe in diversity. And he gets his brownie points with white liberal women, right? But the white liberal women wouldn't vote for Kamala on her own. And as evidence of, they didn't. I'll stress that again. Kamala didn't get a single delegate. She did not get these votes. She's put on the ticket as a virtue signal. What do you think happens with Michelle Obama as the head of this ticket? Now, it may work because Obama, Harris, or, you know, something may work. because people like Obama. But don't forget what Barack Obama did. He brought Joe Biden on specifically because they were concerned people would not want to vote for a black man. Republicans show their true colors. Oh, that's right, I'm calling you out, Republicans. You show your true colors when you say Michelle Obama can win. Because it shows you're not racist. These Republicans are like, uh-oh, Michelle Obama is a charismatic woman, and she might be able to give Trump a run for his money. A lot of Republicans are saying that, and I'm like, guys, you got to understand, Democrats are racist. Like they are racist. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being cute. Let me do this. Okay, just so I'll pull this one up. This is Republicans show their true colors. Oh, that's right, I'm calling you out, Republicans. You show your true colors when you say Michelle Obama can win. Because it shows you're not racist. These Republicans are like, uh-oh, Michelle Obama is a charismatic woman, and she might be able to give Trump a run for his money. A lot of Republicans are saying that, and I'm like, guys, you got to understand, Democrats are racist. Like they are racist. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being cute. Let me do this. Okay, just so I'll pull this one up. This is from Yale. Democrats are racist. White liberals present themselves as less competent in interactions with African Americans. Okay. Now I'm not saying that not a single Republican is racist or whatever. My point is, I do believe there is a substantial amount of people on the Democrat side and middle-of-the-road people who aren't super political who are not going to vote for a black woman. First, you've got racists, and I'll tell you this, America is not racist. That's why they voted for Barack Obama twice. And it's not all about race. They liked him better as a better candidate. But I do believe there is going to be, I believe there's probably way more sexism, especially in minority communities. So where these, you think it's going to be white people. Nah, I think Michelle Obama would actually do a lot worse. You poll, people are going to say, oh, yeah, of course. We'll see what the numbers actually turn out to. Here's the New York Post has to say. Biden insisted Friday that he won't drop out of the race unless the Lord Almighty tells him. Get ready for a lot of Democrats start publicly praying. Not so much to God, though, as to Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, and anyone else, with a shot at getting through to Joe, who right now seems to be only listening to Hunter and Dr. Jill. The party's down-ballot candidates are freaking out, rightly fearing that having a manifestly unfit for office guy at the top of the ticket will not only hand Donald Trump the White House, but elect a Republican House and Senate. I'm here for it. Obama's top electioneer, David Axelrod, is already telling the party's donors to close their purses to any candidate who won't call for Biden to drop out. Fat cats like Abigail Disney are on board. Sticking with Biden will kill the party's turnout in swing states and districts, and outright Democratic civil war to oust him at the convention won't help either. Every day, the convention turns on Biden. The conversation turns on Biden's condition is a day that Dems lose. Take a look at this. We have a running list of Democrats calling for Joe Biden to drop out. Adam Smith, Jerry Nadler, Mark Takano, Joe Morell, Angie Craig. You got, whoa, she wrote a big thing. Mike Quigley. Here you go, is another interview. Seth Moulton, Raul Grijalva. You've got Julian Castro, former Housing and Urban Development Secretary, writing on X. He's got to go. He's got to go. Texas Rep. Lloyd Doggett, Tim Ryan. Look at this. And more to come, more to come. Right now, we have this from CNBC. Disney heiress, wealthy Democratic donors say they won't finance the party until Joe Biden drops out. This is from Thursday, July 4th, just last week. But we are seeing the revolt, the civil war against Joe Biden. Now, from yesterday morning, several top House Democrats say Biden should step aside during leadership call. This is what Batya Ungar Sargon calls the anti-Biden coup. Writing in the opening paragraph, something amazing has happened in the 10 days since Joe Biden and Donald Trump faced off in a presidential debate in Atlanta. Biden has come in for the kind of coordinated onslaught from the mainstream media and Democratic power and the Democratic power brokers that is usually reserved for Republicans. Biden's performance allowed the audiences of CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, and The New York Times their first glimpse of something that journalists at those outlets had worked hard to conceal. That Biden slurs his speech, that his thoughts are erratic, his glassy gaze unfocused, his memory deeply flawed. You know what worries me the most? We all knew this, right? We all knew this. Here we go. Joe Biden tweets, "Let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm the sitting president of the United States. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party. I am staying in this race." Shout out to Greg, 16676935420 on X, who's like a very well-known parody account. What does he have? Like a million? What does he have? Just about 1 million followers. How are you tweeting when you are on stage in Wisconsin right now? Uh-huh. Yo, we get it. Joe Biden is not here. He's not in charge. He doesn't know how this stuff works. Batya Ungar-Sargon tweets, "We are at the enacting a coup against a duly elected leader stage of defending democracy, I see." Yep. Look, man, I am fed up with the Democratic elites and the establishment. These people are abject evil. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to say, but these people are evil. They lie, cheat, and steal every day. And perhaps it's always been the case. And perhaps it's only now, because of the internet, as I often say, that we're able to see beyond the veil and understand who the man behind the curtain really is, what they've been doing this whole time. We think we know what's true. We don't know what's true. The media has always just reported what the establishment machine wants them to report. It's probably been that way since Kennedy or even earlier. From Axios, Biden refuses to take cognitive test, denies he's losing to Trump. Well, if he's denying that he's losing to Trump, that may be all the cognitive test you need, because the polls show it plain as day. The donors are saying it. But you know what this is? Joe Biden doesn't care about any of that. Joe Biden cares about his family. I can respect that to a certain degree. And Joe Biden's son, Hunter, doesn't like that he's being convicted of crimes, and he doesn't want his dad to drop out. Neither does Dr. Jill. Jill, oh man, she's the first lady. She doesn't want to give up that power. She will rip it from whoever she has to keep it. These people are despicable. They're the worst kind of people. Joe Biden, in his demented state, and you know, I think it's fair to say demented, right? And the reason, and this is important, right? So there were some news stories where they said he doesn't have dementia. He's got age-related cognitive decline, and I'm like, okay, let me pause you right there. Okay, I understand the difference between age-related cognitive decline and dementia. Now, if you're saying that he sometimes stumbles over his words and he's a little bit forgetful, that's not dementia. That's just age-related cognitive decline. But when he confuses the names of countries and wanders the wrong way off stage, he is showing signs of dementia. Now, some are speculating maybe he has Parkinson's because a Parkinson's specialist met with the White House doctor or something like that. I don't know. I think we know that he's suffering from something upstairs. I think he may have a moderate, a slight form of dementia. When he's on stage, okay, Donald Trump walks on stage for the debate. He walks off stage, right? Joe Biden, at various instances over the past few years, has walked the wrong direction. There was one where he's on stage, and he turns around, looking at the screen, the backdrop, and starts talking to it. That is not age-related mental decline. That is, Joe Biden doesn't know where he is. When you see his hands outstretched in front of him with his fingers grasped like this, that is a sign of dementia. When you see the angry outbursts, these are symptoms typically associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's sad, really. The rage, I'll tell you where it comes from. It's how you read about it, Google it. They say that the simplest way it's been explained to me by an expert in the field. You know that feeling you get when something's on the tip of your tongue, and you're like, I can't think of it. It's frustrating. You're like, what was that band? Oh, I can remember the song. I can't remember the name. And you're like, how do I search for this? It's a little frustrating. Imagine if that was every sentence, every time you tried to speak, You knew you have something to say, but you can't grasp it. It gets so frustrating. You get angry. And that's what we see with Joe Biden. When he yelled at that union worker a couple of years ago, "I don't work for you!" Remember when that reporter was asking him a question and he just started snapping, repeating the same thing over and over again? A lot of people say that's indicative of dementia. He's forgetting. He's getting angry. His brain's not working. It could be Alzheimer's. It could be dementia. Age-related cognitive decline would be like him going, you know what was the name? I can't remember that. That's not what he's doing. When he's wandering off stage with his hands, the worrying thing to me is when his fingers are twisted. Look at his hands when he's doing the cornholio and walking. You can see his muscles are contracted in his hands in a strange way. I'm telling you. Axios says President Biden flatly ruled out taking a cognitive test or submitting to an independent medical examination to determine if he has any neurological conditions, insisting he has had the energy and ability to run for president and defeat Trump. In an interview with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos, the president avoided the verbal flubs and unfinished sentences that defined his disastrous debate performance last week. Really? Or maybe it's an edited interview. However, more importantly, as many on the right have explained it, they've said it was a really great interview. Joe Biden didn't do anything to the point where they could justify removing him in this interview, but he certainly didn't do anything to calm people down. So he does an interview, people are still concerned over his mental state, but it wasn't such a disastrous interview where they could pull him out immediately. If he did this interview and it was as bad or worse than the debate, he's gone off the ticket. But it was okay. So everyone's like, okay, he's still tired, making excuses, but he didn't lose it. The funny thing is, in this interview, Biden's like, I was traveling around the world and they advised me not to do it. And then Stephanopoulos is like, he's like, you had 6 whole days of rest before this debate. Was that enough? And Biden's like, well, I had a cold. And I'm like, he had a cold. No, he didn't. This is how he always is. But I appreciate him giving that response. You know why? Because you got these videos of people clapping and cheering for him at these events. And let him do it. Let him do it. He had a cold. He had a cold. Give him the excuses. Let them keep Joe Biden on the ticket. See if I care. Now, look, I got no guarantees. You got no guarantees that Donald Trump can actually win even against Joe Biden. And right now, I think the one thing you got to be careful of, and I need all of you to say this, to tweet this, to talk about this. They run this news. Oh, we got to get Joe Biden out. He's the worst. And you start to believe, oh man, if they keep Joe Biden on the ticket, we can't lose. And then what happens? Then come November, Trump supporters are like, we couldn't possibly lose against this guy, and then they do. Because there's going to be a shadow campaign, just like there was in 2020. What does that mean? I don't know. Ask Time Magazine. I don't know what they mean by shadow campaign. Let me pull that one up. Because they love to claim there's no conspiracy or whatever. I don't know, man. Is Time Magazine conspiracy theory? The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election, which they refer to as a conspiracy behind the scenes that curtailed the protests according to the residents from CEOs to help stop Donald Trump. Time Magazine says there was a conspiracy to stop Donald Trump, and they call it a shadow campaign. Is that American democracy? These people are gloating that they have burned our institutions to the ground. You know, I look over at France, and Marine Le Pen's party is the largest party in the country now, winning every single district except for Paris. But because of a coalition from the left, they are not the majority power. Well, that's Parliament. Parliament is not the same as winner-take-all elections. The way it works in France, and actually I should say this, the way parliamentary systems tend to work, I don't know about France specifically, is that if you have an election in your area, and you have, let's say that there are 10 representatives that are going to be sent from certain districts. If your party gets 60% of the vote and the other party gets 40, six of those people will be your party, 4 will be the other. They don't do winner take all. They actually say, okay, here's how many seats we're going to give your party based on how much percentage of vote you get. And I suppose that makes a lot of sense. It does. The problem is, you end up in situations with France where if a corrupt party brings in more and more people who oppose the interests of the country, it's impossible to win. Now, that's true, too, for the U.S., but the Founding Fathers knew we needed protection for minority groups in this country, which is why we have the Electoral College. The Democrats are outraged. They don't like the idea that the minority party actually gets a chance to rule, but that was the intention. Two wolves and a lamb deciding on what's for lunch. Republic is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. That's America. The Electoral College system ensures that sometimes the minority party has the opportunity to defend itself. Why? Because the Founding Fathers were very smart. They said, what happens if you have a consistent 45% minority group that can never get anything? 45% angry people wage revolution. You're talking about just shy of half the country, so they can't win a direct democracy. Their interests aren't being upheld, and almost half the country? Yeah, you're in for a world of hurt unless these people have appropriate representation, which means sometimes minority rule. That's the point. Democrats don't like that. They want to make sure that can never happen. That's their shadow campaign. You know, we got so many articles about Joe Biden, I don't even know what to read. Critics pile on Biden following ABC interview. Blast his refusal to commit to cognitive test. Disqualifying. I certainly agree. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, look, I think Joe Biden should be the nominee. I don't like Joe Biden. I think his brain doesn't work, but they voted for him. If they pull him out now, it's clear this was a scheme, a scam on the American people. We should not tolerate this. They wanted to block RFK Jr. That was the play. If they had a real primary, RFK Jr. would be the nominee. They had to lock him out, shut down the primary, and now swap him out at the last minute right before the convention. It's going to be chaos. And you know what? Democrat voters will let him do it. So we will see. Welcome back from this holiday weekend. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you all enjoyed your time out with family. I'll be back with the next segment at 1 p.m. on this channel with more. There's so much news here. We're gonna save it for 1 p.m. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, follow me on X, and we'll be back at 1 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.
over time. Kotaku is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst websites out there. I think it definitely hurts gaming more than anything positive. It's a garbage website. They attack fans. They do nothing but basically prop themselves up as a mouthpiece for companies. Disney ever needs anything, they can run to Kotaku. Those journalists will protect them as much as possible. They don't work for you. They work for companies. All they care about is access and kind of keeping the narrative that those companies want moving.